Hello.
Good morning, afternoon. Yeah.
Morning, afternoon. Uh,
Uh,
how's your
I'm sorry.
how's your day going so far?
It's been going pretty good, actually. Yes. Um, Breakfast.
I had a nice brisk walk with my friend Bill,
Oh, nice.
and I covered 3 miles. For me, that's quite something. It was good.
Yeah, I need to get out and walk. I haven't walked well, since the dog died.
Oh yeah, no, I get out every day because I think otherwise I'd be crippled.
Yeah, yeah, that makes such a difference. I know. And
I
I,
I I have to keep on top of it.
yeah, I don't have a really nice place to walk. That's the other thing. I mean, I could drive somewhere, but I have not really developed that habit. But
Well,
that's fair.
I agree with that. I wouldn't drive either, except that my friend lives up in Marietta. It's quite a ways away. And we meet halfway in between. It's a beautiful, it's an old railway right of way, right along
Oh,
Chattahoochee River. So it's
oh,
gorgeous.
nice.
So
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
will drive for that. And then around the corner, there's a coffee shop. So we go there afterward and
Yeah,
chat.
best
So
of both worlds.
it's a whole morning thing.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I drive myself.
Well, and going with somebody really makes a difference too. I mean, that's what the dog was for me. He was somebody to go with, and so that made a big difference. And
Yeah,
I,
well, it's a necessity. You can't get away with not doing it.
yeah, yeah, I need to do that.
So you've got a chain necklace. That's very.
Oh,
I don't usually see you wearing something like that.
yeah, it's sort of fun.
Are you
Has
off
a sense of
to
humor to it.
Are you off
Nope,
to an occasion?
nope, I don't think I'm going anywhere today. I had a physical therapy appointment and that got canceled, so I think I'm.
Well, good. We can spend some time.
Yeah.
By the way, I wanted to invite you. I think Virginia will as well, but next a week from a week from tomorrow, on the 29th, Virginia suggested that I should have a retirement party.
That's Saturday.
He said, yeah, Saturday at 2, which would
Um,
be 11.
11 my time.
Yeah. And I said, why would I have a retirement party?
Oh, a party for any reason is good.
Yeah, and that's what we decided. And I'm calling it a reframing my life party.
Hey, there you go.
But would love, it's inviting Gilles and I
Oh,
don't
fun.
guess I don't know if yeah, you know him,
Yeah, I do. Yep.
and a number of people who've been involved with the America's Soul Cafe
Are you going to
community.
send out a link?
Virginia was going to,
Okay. All right. I've got
but
it on my calendar.
I may well I may well follow up with a few people and send the link once I get it,
Yeah.
just to make sure, because she can be a little spotty nowadays
Mm,
about getting these things worked out, because she keeps a very busy schedule, and I think it's would get any one of us sort of mixed up.
hmm. Yeah. No, I certainly have my moments on that as well. Yeah.
Mm.
Mm. This morning, I'm sort of sad Humanity Rising is making a major shift and they're going down to 1 day a week on Friday. which is going to be awkward, but um and I sort of missed that announcement, so I have to still go back and listen to it and see what they're planning there. Jim Garrison is so involved in the alien work that's happening in Washington
I can imagine.
that he's really that and the university, I think, are probably make it difficult to do something like every day. So so that's sort of good news and bad news. But I am gonna to miss it, even though I've not been doing every morning just because I have meetings downtown now a lot at 9 and 9:30. So that interferes with that. But it's so often really useful, especially when he doesn't do alien stuff. And this whole week was okay.
Excuse me. I just heard my phone beep.
Uh,
Shoot. I have a tree arborist showing up,
oh,
and she just showed up. She told me she could come this afternoon, but she didn't tell me when. I may have to bail, and
okay. I understand.
I will check again if I'm only with her for like 15, 20 minutes and see if you're still, if Carl has shown
Okay.
up. But otherwise,
Okay. All
I'm
right.
glad I told you about,
Yeah, send me the link. Make sure I get it.
I will. And
Okay. You're
I'll
on
see
my
you.
schedule. It'd be fun to see Virginia. I haven't seen her in a while. So
Okay. And some good people. All
yeah.
right.
Excellent.
Well, what was that?
No, I'm just listening.
Okay, something in progress. What I don't know what that was. That
Yeah. So what's the title of this one?
um. Well, the title of the book is New World Butterflies.
Ah, okay. All right.
Um, and I will share with you poems that are in this book that I wrote.
Okay.
The first one is Mother Earth is giving birth. Mother Earth is giving birth today to a species of humanity that's new and on its way. We are in the birth canal of our divine emergence from a world in utter chaos, strife, confusion, and insurgence. Our birth has been foretold by avatars and sages in every scripture and religion throughout all the ages. This is the time. This is the crisis of our birth. We are universal humans being born throughout the earth.
Nice.
Yeah.
What was the one you read before that? Would you read that again?
Which one was it? Let's see. I don't remember which one it was.
Yeah, and I don't remember either. That's why that's my mind doesn't hold things very fast either.
Hmm. Let's see.
Oh, well, just read another. They're lovely.
Okay. See, which one do I want to read? Cocoon. Let's the new life waiting to be born. awaits our conscious choice. It cannot happen so long as we choose to continue playing out the old script and are still attached to our personal and collective egoic agenda. This birth asks that we trust and let go into the mystery. This can be likened to the metamorphosis of a caterpillar to a butterfly. Our cocoon comfort is a coffin to all we have known, all we have been. We let go and are engulfed by a vast unknown. I am the caterpillar whose cocoon is being devoured. It's an inside job. Old organs are being transformed as beliefs about my identity are destroyed bite by bite. The shell disappears into nothingness. That which is dear and familiar is lost. Nothing new takes form as I surrender yet again. I'm really not into what I'm reading here.
Well, we're
There-
going to have to do this again, I think, because it occurred to me that if you read that book to me and I record it, then we can, I think, use that recording to help you self-publish.
Okay, so what are you saying?
I'm suggesting that we actually create a time for us to work together, for you to actually read the book to me, and let me record it. And then I can translate that into digital form and we can republish.
Well, I would love to join you in that endeavor.
Yeah, I think that would be fairly easy. And Carl's just come on. It looks like he just woke up.
I need a haircut.
And
You're not supposed to
Robert-
pretend you know me that well. No.
yeah, and Robert was here earlier, but an arborist came unexpectedly, so he is helping with he's working with his trees right now.
Nice.
So hello, honey. So you once it's recorded, then you could some software to transcribe it,
Yeah,
and then there would be some editing, just to verify it.
yeah,
Smart.
yeah. But I think it would be pretty easy to do because we've been kind of struggling with that, and getting somebody to retype the book is another option, but that's proven to be difficult. So I think this would be fairly easy.
Okay, so how can I support this endeavor best?
Well, we'll set up a time where you agree to have time with me and we'll just read the book. And we'll do it till the book's read.
Okay. And who does the work, or how is it? What preparation needs to happen?
Not really any, because Zoom will automatically do the recording. And then if I can get a program that will translate that into writing, which I can, there's programs that do that, then we'll basically have the book in digital form, which is what we need. And there, as Carl said, there'll be formatting. We'll have to, so, if you say the title, then I could put the title on. Yeah, it's just formatting. So there's a little work, but not
So
a
maybe
lot.
the clarification is the digital form means it's something that people can read. It's an electronic file.
Yeah, it's an electronic file that people can read.
like a Word document.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like a Word document.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
yeah.
So just tell me what to do and I'll do it.
Well, is there a time and day that work best for you to do this, where you would have an hour or so to do that?
I'm pretty available.
Okay, all right. So I will look at my schedule and we'll
Okay.
between the two of us, we'll set up a time.
All right.
Perfect.
And in preparation, what comes to your mind? I mean, to prepare for this, what comes to your mind?
There's not much prep needed.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why I think it's a good plan, because you don't have to do a whole lot.
But I want to do it now.
Yeah, I'm just thinking maybe setting up a Saturday mornings as a regular time,
Okay.
because I know that that's pretty safe for me to do if we start like at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning.
That's all right with me.
Okay, all right.
And say what you see. I mean, say
So
so.
I would call you at 9 o'clock on Saturday morning,
Okay.
and you will read the book.
Okay. Okay. And then what? What does that? What does that call forth? I mean, what are you saying? I read the book.
Yeah, so
You
you
know.
read the book and I'll record it, and then I'll be able
Okay.
to make it into a real book that we can publish on Amazon.
Okay. I believe I already have New World Butterflies on Amazon, I believe.
Okay, I'll look and see.
Would you please?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But like, what can I do now?
Well, right now, nothing. That's it.
Oh, but I want to do something now.
Well, right now, you and I and Carl are talking. So we're just sort of doing that. I had a wonderful HR thing this morning. Dawson Church is the guy's name. He's written a bunch of books, and his latest one is coming out May 1st, called Spiritual Intelligence. And it is full of exercises and ways to keep and to get people into higher levels of consciousness. And has a lot of research. One of the things that he talked about was a lady named Eric Chayworth. That's not quite right. What's her name? Erica Chenoth, Chenoth.
Can you spell that again?
Chenoth. And she's with the Carr Center, CARR, out of Harvard. And she has done a lot of research on how many people it takes to change the world, basically.
5%.
And no, it's like 3 or 5%.
You said 3 to 5%?
Yeah. So
Well, if I said 5%,
yeah, 5% is good.
I mean, this is sort of it's worth noting because it's a consistent number.
Yeah,
the
well, and she's done the
revolution.
research.
Yeah.
I mean, because we've talked about it. I mean, it's been around for decades, actually,
Yeah.
that people have said that. But she's done a lot of actual research to prove how that's true. So that's kind of useful. And so he's talking about the changes that are going on and how excited he is because he sees so much change and so many people at the higher levels. And I'm just thinking, oh God, I can't remember his name. He did Power versus Force. It's been a big book that people have talked about for decades. I have it.
Right. I
Yeah.
remember.
And I just saw another presentation that really uses a lot of his work. And she was talking about the number of people who have achieved a vibration above 200 in his work. His work goes from 0 to 1,000, I think. And the level of vibration has to do with the emotional resonance that people have. And there's all sorts of charts that show what all this means. And so I'm hearing actually in Dawson's work that the issue didn't come up, but it would be interesting to find out how his work correlates with this work, with the power versus force work, because the vibration that people have is something that other people kind of catch. And he was saying that positive vibrations go out 3 levels, negative vibrations go out 2. So positive has a greater impact. And the more of us that have a higher vibration, then the more likely the people around us are to also have higher vibrations than they would otherwise, whatever that is. And that's one of the ways in which we do change the culture. So his work, Dawson's work, is about things to do to make that happen. So meditation and tapping were the 2 things he mentioned that everybody should do every day that are really easy and very impactful.
When you say tapping, is there like something a ritual process that's literally tapping?
Yes, yes. EFT, if you're not familiar with it, is a technique, and I can send you some links with videos and stuff. It's a way of tapping acupuncture points, and that releases stuff. I used it for a while, quite extensively, to get rid of a lot of emotional hooks, things that were caught in my body emotionally. And the tapping just released them. If you
Well,
do
I
it.
don't have any of those, so I'm fine.
And you can feel the release.
Yeah.
And you don't have to really know what it is. You kind of direct it by questions or thoughts. And it finds the stuck place and just opens it up. So I did that for a while, but I haven't done it for a while. So it kind of came up for me this morning as something to revisit, especially because my body's doing all these weird things. So maybe there are messages there that it would be really good for me to hook into in some way. So yeah, so I'm going to go bring that back, and I can send you the links if you want.
I
There's
would love.
lots of methods, and there's some really simple things, just using your hand actually, that allow you to tap into it. And there's a process that goes through your hand and then around the upper part of your body. And they're fairly fast. They don't take a lot of time. They just take focus, um, and the time to do it. But
Making time.
yeah. So yeah. So it's just kind of interesting. One of the things that he talks about too is that people at a higher vibration are just happy. There's just a lot of happiness around that. Uh, and that's contagious just in and of itself. So yeah. Yeah, it was interesting. I'm going to miss this part of HR, and I don't know, maybe that's what he'll be bringing back in April, but I fear it's going to be more heavily UFO and alien
When you
oriented.
say HR, what does it exactly stand for again?
Humanity Rising.
Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. They've been on the air for 5 years well, starting 7 days a week and then went down to 5 days a week. And they've been doing 5 days a week for years. And now he's going down to 1 day a week.
Oh.
And so that's in April that will happen. And so I mean, it's been harder for me since I got involved with Soil Smart to do that 5 days, because when I start talking to people in the city, they want to meet at 9 o'clock in the morning. So that impacts my ability to do that. So I haven't been as religious in the last few months as I have been up till then. I mean, I didn't miss one for years. And I have notes on all of them. So I have reams of notes. And that's the other thing about HR is it's not just the talk, but it's also the chat. Because as people talk, people in the chat go research stuff and will bring back, websites and videos and things and books that are relevant to what the speaker's talking about. So the chat has been really, really rich. And you can't copy the chat. So you have to type them all. I got pretty good at doing that there for a while. But yeah, so it's just very rich in resources, just very, very rich. So I will miss it.
May I read something to you from New World Butterflies?
Sure, absolutely.
It's the page Metamorphosis. We are at a cross, and I want to hear what you have to say about it. We are at a crossroads. We have not been here before. Having no map, we enter the imaginal realm. Anything we can imagine, we can create. In fact, that's the only way it happens. Imagine the caterpillar, comfortable, secure in its cocoon, until the new life through the butterfly begins to push toward freedom and release. This awakening and birth is not without pain, but the alternative is death. The intensity of our transformation from caterpillar to butterfly is excruciating and frightening and exhilarating and hopeful at the same time. Well, that completes that paragraph of Metamorphosis.
Yeah, no, yeah, I'm very struck actually with all the poems you've read today and how germane they are to this time. When were you writing? When was the book done?
Oh gosh. I don't know offhand. Let's see if there's any.
Should be around the first or second pages, maybe.
Um,
Do you remember where you were living when you wrote it? Did it give you a sense of?
Gosh,
Yeah, where are you living? In California?
yes, yeah. I was here in California. As far as
Was that with Barbara Marx Hubbard?
yeah, the gateway to conscious evolution.
Yeah. So when would
Yeah.
that be about?
Let's see. I doubt that the references in this book. Let's see. Copyright is 2006.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. by I Am Universe Publications. On me at IamUniverse.com. Copyright 2006, all rights reserved. Gateway to Conscious Evolution.
Nice.
Yeah. What else?
That was almost 20 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, 19.
Wow. These are good poems.
Yes, they are.
They really are. And it was a what do I want? Let's see. It was, a big deal. I mean, Gateway to Conscious Evolution. Barbara Marx Hubbard was the context.
Yeah.
Ooh, this is nice. My friend my friend Kelly wrote this one. Kelly Kelsey. She passed quite some time ago. But she wrote one called Birth Throes, THROES. All that is crying on the earth is but the longing to give birth to the grandest vision ever known of the love divine that calls us home. We are midwives for each other, holding, caring, as the mother loves and breathes us into being the wonder that we are, children of a distant star, sending forth our love and light for the new world now in sight. Let me read this too. Creation continues. The time of explosions is over. Creation continues. The universe evolves. A new story. Everything in the universe, having come into being with a big bang, now shows itself as strings of energy, vibrating and dancing like strings on a violin, seeking harmony. Tiny strings weaving fabrics of space-time in graceful curves with narrow passages from one reality to another. Can the fabric of space tear? Can we move from one universe to another parallel one in the blink of an eye? Magic and mystery are breathing the new story. And it just goes on and on.
Okay, well, Saturday we will continue with this and try and be really methodical so that we have the chronology correct and the paper numbers, the numbers of the pages correct and the authors correct. So, yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. So what else now?
I don't know. Carl, you got anything on your mind?
Always about changing. Like I say, I'm late because I had a conversation with a friend, architect in France, and we're talking about how to people to influence mindsets to save our forest and build with steel. Overly simplified, but that's but part of the conversation was um it's not just about presenting facts because people are entrenched in their thinking. And actually I had the thought that um people who people who consider themselves experts, i.e. architects, it's even harder to get them to see another view because they're so convinced that they are right because of their expertise.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah, I would-
probably, I guess that's a question to you. Would you agree with that? Because the more degrees they have, or the more evidence that they are right, it can make them more entrenched.
Yeah, I mean, we're kind of dealing with that when I think of the city. So what I've been thinking about today in terms of getting city people to open up and change their minds is going through all of the goals they have, things they want to achieve. Um, and we were talking about this the other day of helping them connect the dots of what they already want to do. So creating lists of public promises they've made through the different plans they have, the comprehensive plan, which I have not approached yet, but the sustainable action plan I've gone through, and I've got 4 pages of notes on that. And then planning was just talking about some of the things they want to do with affordable housing and help them see that if they do certain things, they will achieve all of this very simply with a few actions. Might help them understand that they get a bigger bang for their buck by doing simple things like making sure that the earth holds water, and that will have all these other impacts that they're also trying to achieve. And it's cost effective and, yada, yada.
So that's
So
really great.
that's what I'm thinking at this point, to actually do a list of those things and say it will, all these things can be achieved by this. So if you do that, you'll have this domino effect instead of changing their mind so much, but kind of opening it up.
Yeah, I mean, part of the conversation we were having is specifically about like what homeowners that want to need to rebuild in relationship to what green architects are telling them.
Mm-hmm,
Because green architects tell them wood.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But I could see a list. If we actually were, and this is part of our conversation, I could see a list. Things that homeowner wants is it's not going to burn again. Resilience, durability, low maintenance, cost effectiveness.
Mm-hmm.
And then you can start adding to the list. Do you want to save? Do you want to save? Don't you think it's good to save forest and to help rainfall?
Right.
So that would be, I could see,
Yeah. Oh, because when you talk about houses and fire protection kinds of things, one of the things that came out of my talks at the Home and Garden Show was another woman who was doing talks, and one of her talks was on fire, and she had a whole brochure about fire preparedness for homeowners. And it's a 5-foot cement collar around the house, and then eliminating any high plants at all, just low plants for 30 feet, and then 3 or 4-foot plants out of there, and then trees at a fire at a farther point. And I can see very much how that would keep you safe from fire, safer from fire. However, the whole cooling point that you want to get to in order to prevent fires in the first place, and the need for water in the soil and how that happens kind of goes against that plan. It would want to keep things closer to the house in some ways, certainly tree
well,
cooling and
I
that
would
kind
I would agree with you everything except for one word, which is
Okay.
the word kind of. And as you say that, I think part of that list would include, don't you want shade trees? Do you want to put shade trees where you want them, not 20 feet away from your house, even if you have 20 feet?
Yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
so wouldn't that be nice so you don't have to worry about, you can have a shade tree next to your house. And if your
Yes.
house is non-combustible, then that's okay.
That helps
Which is a
too.
whole
Yeah.
lot better than saying, forget
Yeah.
about that concrete.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
because
Exactly.
that's the nice way to say, because I
Yeah.
mean, just as because I can't help the whole concrete thing, or this barrier,
Uh-huh.
that's coming from this thing you want to build with, which is wood, needs it's I don't know, it's a handicap, or it's already like we're doing all these things because the thing we keep building with needs
That
needs
kind of
help.
protect. Yeah. Yeah.
And if you, so instead of doing this, and this, and having an ugly, horrible concrete backyard, well, just don't do that. Do this,
Right. And that concrete just makes things hotter. I mean, it's just, yeah.
and
Yeah.
not kind of hotter.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it would, which is, and I mentioned this the other day. This thing that I came across, that even one tree well with deep moisture in the soil will help cool your backyard
Yeah.
more than just shade. It's bigger than just shade.
Yep. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
just take
That's
the
why.
kind of out of there.
Okay.
I'll teach you how to be an architect and like speak in certainties. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I've been accused of being too certain also, that it shuts down conversation. So I've been working on that, trying to
Yeah, me too.
be a little more open on that. Um, yeah, the other piece of it that I woke up with this morning too was really thinking about simple systems understanding. Because I used to start all my talks with sort of a system primer 101, that one, systems are wholes, that the whole is composed of parts, that the parts can't be transferred from one system to another. And these are really, really basic, very simple things. But when you get it, then it makes sense why you're doing certain things and not others. And it helps you understand how to change within that context instead of um, desecrating that context.
I think that's also a good point, because I think I was in other conversations where it's like, and probably what you called systems primer is probably what I was thinking, but I didn't have the name for it, which is there's some kind of primer art explaining that, like, why systems are thinking whole more holistically
Makes a
is
difference. Yeah.
creates opportunities. Yeah, I didn't
Yep.
say better. It
Yeah,
creates opportunities, including having a shade tree near your house and not
right.
concrete.
Exactly. Well, then that's where the biotic pump as a system comes in. If you understand the system dynamic, then you see the biotic pump as a system, you understand all those parts are necessary. And you have a lot of room as to exactly what those parts look like, but all the parts have to be there. And that's true for values as well. So that's the other place I go with that, which is a whole other conversation. But it just it helps keep thinking cohesive instead of scattered. It puts things together in wholes that I think are really useful, because we're not used to thinking that way at all. We think in parts and pieces.
Yeah.
May I share a poem?
Yes, but I don't want you to get tired of it. I want you to be enthusiastic on Saturday.
Well, what did you just say?
I said I want you to be enthusiastic on Saturday.
Why would I not be?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I just don't want you to be tired of your poems.
Oh, I'd never get tired of these poems.
Okay, go ahead.
This one I wrote is called New World Lover. A new world lover I am until the end of time. From the earliest chaos I have come to this moment of eternal rhyme. Who I was will ever be, and who I am is now. I'm in the mix, between and betwixt. I give my solemn vow. I am a lover. It matters not of whom. I am a lover, each instant of sun and moon. I am a lover of life and all living things. I am a lover, whatever life may bring. New world lover, free at last from lust that grabs and holds and keeps and needs till nothing's left but dust. New world lover, a blaze and a fire, kindling your deepest flame of desire until you burst and thirst for more and knock on the face of heaven's door. Thrown open to a vast expanse where we embrace in a sacred dance, naked, exposed, nothing to hide, sharing unbridled beauty inside, allowing what is to forever be until it passes, for it is free, as it must ever remain. Nothing stays the same except the love, the lover, and the beloved. That's all there has ever been or ever will be. New world lovers, forever free.
Really nice.
It is. Mm.
Very nice. Very nice.
And then the next one. God weaves our hearts together in a spiral of ascending love. We surrender all that we were, merging into one great I am. The Spirit guides our essence through the very heart of God, mixing our bodies and our blood with divine particles of light, transforming us in mystery. We walk the earth without ever touching the ground. We speak a new language without making a sound. We are united in glory as spreading beams of light. A feather falls from an angel. A drop of water falls from love, turning the earth to paradise. All creation springs to life. A single divine touch from the hand of God unites all lovers in a moment of communion. We are baptized with spirit and arise with the sun. We spread our arms and fly without any wings. We soar in the wonder of spirits set free by soul to live heart to heart in the oneness of love. I really like these. Woohoo!
Very nice. Very nice indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will look forward to doing Saturdays.
Oh, good. Okay. True. I mean, good. Hmm. Hmm.
But it is probably time to move on today. We are
Okay.
over time. So I will call you Saturday morning at 9.
All right, so it is. Look
Oh.
forward to it.
Okay.
Okay, hon.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
It's wonderful. Be ashamed to lose all that.
What's this, how long is her, like, how many poems does she have?
I don't know. I've not ever seen the book, but it is a book, so I'm assuming 100+ pages, maybe 200 pages. So it would be about 400 poems, maybe.
It's a generous offer, and it's a good, the solution that you come up with is,
Yeah, I think it'd be much easier. And she's not able to do much else at this point in time.
I mean, it was, you were explaining it with like, that when you said it's a digital form, she didn't know what that, it's,
She changed a few months ago, in a matter of days. And it was really noticeable and very concerning. And yeah. And the move, I think, was actually very hard on her.
this last move.
Yeah, she just moved from one place that she'd been for many years to another place back where she had been before that. But still, it's a new move, and it's a smaller place, and it's just different. And so it's just been really hard for her to regroup and feel like she's home again. So she doesn't really feel connected to where she is. She can go to the ocean, that's good. She does that. But the habits that she had at the old place and the familiarity are all gone. And she's been loath to create new habits, which I think would really ground her a lot if she could develop it. I've been coaching her to do that, but she's sort of been resistant. So yeah, she moves very much from being energized inside, and she's just not comfortable enough to allow that to happen. She's not familiar enough with where she is. She's only been there a few months. She moved in January, I think. So it's quite new.
In trying to learn from these, these communications, this quality that I have no patience for, that you do, and I appreciate that. In this quality that you ascribe to being whatever Aries or whatever it is.
Yeah.
I could see how I'm imagining that and the very me-centric or personally, like, about her, perhaps what comes with that is not being very good at adapting to change.
Could be. It is Aries, I think, is a fixed sign, which is always harder to adapt.
Did I remember right, Aries?
Yeah. I
Oh.
think she's an Aries. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, whatever, because whatever you had said there. So that
Yeah, fixed signs are hard that way. I'm a fixed sign, Scorpio, and my daughter's a fixed sign, Taurus. And they're just hard. And I think Leo is the fixed sign and fire.
did I know that you were a Scorpio?
I don't know.
Because maybe we had the conversation that in my mind the evidence that I've had in my life that there's something to it, is that I kept dating Scorpios. I went through this phase of Scorpios, and it always did not work.
What's your sun sign?
Virgo.
Virgo. Okay. Yeah.
But I have
there's a compatibility there. Yeah.
Yeah, but because we can be so open and honest. And actually, one of one of these Virgos and one of these Scorpios, was really into astrology, and she did my chart, and I had
Oh,
had
yeah.
done my chart done twice, So I actually have 4 houses in Virgo.
Oh, okay.
But then there's I mean, I'm not the neat freak. I'm kind of I'm driven to order of some sort.
But it's
Uh,
mental order.
yeah,
Yeah. And part of the Virgo, it's interesting. I think part of the Virgo characteristic is this drive for deeper knowledge in a way.
yeah. So the thing that the other part, the thing that I thought was really interesting, and this is not from her, from another person who did my chart. She said like they both said like, oh, that's a lot of Virgo.
Yeah, well, I'm
Um,
living in the Scorpio.
um, but that there's and I don't. It's been a long time, but there's 2 things. I don't think it was Aries. There was 2 things that tempered the Virgo in enhanced or explained what I like to think myself as being very intuitive. And I forget which so there was a lot of energy in the in being intuitive,
Mm,
which I think that seems really rings really true because even as a dumb 20-year-old or in school, you know the the being creative, intuitive, and trusting. Intuitive seems to be like trusting your decision process,
yeah.
which
And trusting yourself
is
in it.
really important for design.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that was now, but
Nice.
I forget which houses what those that. Anyways, but I like the idea of tempering the 4 things of 4 houses in Virgo.
Yeah.
That feels right.
You need a balance there. Yeah. Yeah, I find those things very useful and more for character understanding than for prediction. But the character understanding and life path stuff, I find it very, very useful. I taught a class at one point, and it was one of my more successful classes. It was truly wonderful. The idea was you would change a relationship in the 8 weeks of the class. That was the purpose of taking that class. And you could pick one, any relationship, it didn't matter. It could be a coworker, it could be a relative, a neighbor, whatever. But you had to focus. And then we went through all these different lenses that you could see a person through. And astrology was one, the Enneagram was another. Um, and each one gives you a context for seeing the person in a very different way. And so you look at that person through all these lenses, and then you do something that would interactively shift that relationship.
Hmm.
And they were to report, they could write it, they could sing it, they could paint it.
Oh,
And it was just amazing the changes that people went through. Long term, old relationships could just shift as they saw them in different ways and got out of the blame game and all the shoulda couldas and all that kind of stuff and just
yeah.
accepted them for who they are and could see who that was and got to appreciate it. So it was fun.
Remember, yeah, I just think back to my parents. I think my parents were really exceptional people. Um, um, specifically my father. I would say that there was he certainly withheld his judgment. Like and specifically, I remember he told me once that he was on a hunting trip with the only 2 brother-in-laws I've had. Well, anyway, at the time, the 2 primary brothers-in-laws. One was early on figured out he was an asshole. He was um like asshole, like it was some real physical abuse with my sister.
uh,
I remember one time she said that she was so happy with him because when they would fight, he took the guns to the garage. But on a hunting trip with these these sons-in-laws, the asshole person was going, sitting around the campfire and telling his father-in-law about his extramarital affairs. And he's lucky. My father's probably the only father-in-law that would shoot him. Like he shouldn't do that at all, but like don't do that on a hunting trip. But my father, when he told me that story, the point is that my father said his in his, he's maybe not the most verbal guy. He was so determined not to interfere with our lives that even that he like,
Wow.
and that comes from when when he, when his mother passed away, which we were in Turkey, so he sort of 69 or something like that, on 67 or something. The Red Cross flew him back from Turkey so he could attend her funeral. And as the things happen around funerals of parents, there was some friction between two siblings,
Oh, I
and
see.
he interfered. He sort of wanted to defend his brother, which they just got him sucked into the conflict.
Mm.
So from that he said that was his explanation why he did not get involved with my brother-in-law, who was telling about how his extramarital. So, but the value of not interfering, so that he
Yeah.
like had to not be. There's a quality of not being judgmental.
Yeah.
I think that let things go, let things be as they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Easier said than done. But
Oh yeah. Yeah. And that's the art and science of living, I think, is knowing when to hold, when to fold, and when to walk away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The funny story. I mean, funny story, but the lessons from Scorpios. And you can tell me, my memory, and this is 20 some years ago, 25. So my memory of, like the one word that describes Scorpio, and this is probably influenced by my experiences, was manipulative.
Mm. Well, Scorpio is the only sign that has 3 levels. I don't think that's actually true, but it's the only one that's been traditionally acknowledged for that. And so there's the scorpion, there's the eagle, and the phoenix.
So 3 levels, like three distinct.
Yeah, and 3 distinct ways of being.
Hmm.
And I think that actually every sign has them. There's only one set of authors that I know, and Russo is what I want to say. I'm not sure that's 100% true, but who really acknowledged that over the time we've been looking at astrology, humanity has grown and changed. And so some of those old characteristics no longer really hold true because people have progressed.
Hmm.
They've done some of that work and they're no longer showing up in those ways. But Scorpio is the only sign where that has been traditionally expressed.
Hmm.
There's always those 3. And usually people don't really deal with the eagle or the phoenix. They don't have any sense of that. They just say, oh, yeah, that's what happens, but they don't know what that means.
Hmm.
And most of the characteristics of Scorpio are from the scorpion phase. So a lot of the manipulative, the anger, all those kinds of things, the lust, all that comes from the scorpion piece,
Yeah.
but they get transmuted as you become eagle or phoenix.
Well, this woman she was pretty bitter because for various things. Primarily because her father left her mother. This is in the 70s, and left her mother impoverished. And I mean, she like talked about like his father. When I met her, his father had 3 marriages, and her mother was the first one.
Yeah.
And her father progressively got sort of wealthier, or more money because of his career. So her half sisters had nicer bikes and stuff.
Right.
But so, but the part that is in my mind about manipulative is this not evolved, or not, this anger,
Mm-hmm.
is like what happened with in my impression with the relationship is um like it seemed really going really well for the first month, and then like,
Yeah.
and she told me that her strategy is you know the way you find a relationship is you're really nice for a month, and then you can be yourself. It's, which which I think is funny, but it's certainly my my belief, my rationalization, like, well, that's what went wrong because
Yeah. 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 I mean, that's a recipe for failure.
it's also just sort of funny
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
because that's what I when I remember it was like oh, this is nice, and then like it just switched. Okay, time's up. Here's the real person.
Yes, and that raises the question of who do you identify with, the nice you or the ugly you? Which do you claim as the real you? Since obviously you can do both.
Well, I wasn't that enlightened at the time. For me, at the time, it was, oh, she just appreciates for being smart, and there's always we're all always in agreement. Then all of a sudden, I was not right about anything.
Oh,
Oh,
fun.
people. Anyway,
Yes.
that's my.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's like there was a period of probably a year or two. It's like every person I was dating was a Scorpio. It was like it's not like 80% were Scorpio. It was like 100% were Scorpio.
Yeah, my
So like,
daughter has that same history. She's a Taurus, and she went through a whole period of Scorpios too, and it was not not a good experience either. Yeah. No. Yeah.
all right. So I'll see you at 2:30.